Hello everyone, it's Galina for Studio Katia, and today I want to show you how to create two different cards using the same materials. I'm going to use Aloha stamp set. From this set I will use all images and few sentiments, and I will use a fancy scallop circle die set. From this set I will use a biggest die and a small sentiment. For adding the background details, I will use a light gray stencil and a blender brushes from Studio Katia. And for my first card, I will need a clear ACETATE sheet, some foam tape and a lot of sequins. I'm not sure which color I will use, so I pick 5 different sequin mixes and confettis to make a choice a little bit later. I'm going to start stamping flowers and leaves with black memento ink. I'm placing a stamp on the acrylic block and I'm rubbing it with a hand. It can help to pick ink better on a stamp when the stamp is new or I didn't use it a long time. I'm stamping all images on the white paper. I'm going to color them with the Copic markers, so I'm using a special paper for markers. For a big flower bouquet, I'm using a large acrylic block. I'm rubbing it as well and I'm stamping it on the paper. Sometimes with stamping a large images, I got white gaps, like here I have on the bottom. I'm going to fix the image with a black linear pen, which I bought in a local craft store. Next, I'm going to cut out the images with the coordinating dies. I'm covering all images with their metal dies, and I'm going to run them through my die cutting machine. To color the stamped images, I will use Copic markers. I'm starting with the lightest shade of my red combo. At first, I'm coloring the places where shadows should be. Next, I'm adding a medium color in the same way. And I'm going to blend the lines with the lightest color. For the last layer, I picked a dark red color and I'm applying it over the previous colors. And again, I'm blending this darkest line with the medium color and I'm finishing coloring with the lightest shade. For the leaves, I picked classic green shades, and here I'm starting with the darkest color and moving to the lightest one. After I'm done with all leaves, I'm coloring small flowers with the 2 shades of yellow color. At last, I added small details on my bouquet. White spotlights with a gel pen and a deep shadows with a dark brown pencil. Next, I cut out a frame for the shaker element. I used a big scallop die and a red cardstock. The inner circle piece I will save for future project. Before I will start creating a shaker element, I'm going to stamp a sentiment directly on the card base. I picked the 2 stamps from the Aloha stamp set and I'm stamping them using Versamark black ink. On this step, I didn't glue any of die cut elements. To create a shaker element on the card, I will need a piece of ACETATE sheet for my frame. I will cut out a small round piece using scissors. I put a strong double-sided adhesive tape on the back side of my die cut and I'm putting the clear acetate piece on it. I'm pressing it well with a bond folder. Next step is adding dimension for the frame. I'm adding a thin stripes of foam tape on a circle die cut. For the shaker, I decided to use only one green sequin mix. It calls Tropical Forest Fusion and includes different colors of sequins and small clear drops. And I'm covering my sequins with a red frame. At last I found mount a colorful bouquet on the frame and my first card is done and I can play with the shaker a little bit. Now let's move to the second card. I cut out a white frame for this card and I will keep the inner piece for this project. I covered the inner round die cut with a light gray stencil and I am applying light yellow color of distress ink through it. I'm using the blender brushes from Studio Katia to apply all inks on my cards. After I removed the stencil, I decided to add a little bit of yellow color on the bottom of the die cut. I want to create a sky background on the card base, and I'm cutting out a cloud stencil with the scissors from a piece of copy paper. You can use a cloud die set to create such mask or use the scissors as I am. Through this DIY stencil, I'm going to apply light blue ink on all my card base. I'm starting from the top and moving to the bottom of the card base. After done with inking, I found mount a white frame in the center of the card base. Next, I'm attaching the inner die cut with my floral composition. To create a sentiment, I used a green cardstock and the sentiment die from the fancy SCALLOP circle die set. And I'm going to attach it on the card using liquid glue from Studio Katia. And here are my two cards using one stamp and die set. I love the both card versions. The shaker card is so fun, and the second card was very easy to create, and it's perfect when you're in rush with card making. All supplies I used you can find in the video description below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Thank you very much for stopping by, and see you soon!